It's me, Trim, back with another video, and this time I am reacting to, well, this video, however, was uploaded in January 28th. But the plans for this are probably something about 2 years old. But I never reacted to it. So I was thinking, what happens to the teams that miss out on well, not necessarily miss out on Champions League or Europa League, but those lower tier leagues in the in Europe, like Norway, for example. What's happening to them when it comes to qualifying? This may have the answers I seek.
As football fans, we are privileged enough to watch a lot of European games, right? We have the Champions League on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we have the Europa League that most of us don't even watch in the earlier stages on Thursdays. So with these two European competitions, we have enough to watch, we can't complain, and the system is good as it stands, right? Well, UEFA clearly disagree, and that is why they introduced the UEFA Europa Conference League, mostly referred to as UEFA Conference League.
So here is the thing off the bat that it's not necessarily that I take offense, but I think there should be some kind of competition for those lower league teams. No, oh my god. So basically you have those countries where you have to struggle with go into this playoff format just to qualify. It doesn't matter if you qualify by winning the Norwegian league. You are not in the Champions League right away. You have to go into what's called the UEFA qualifying rounds, basically. It's where you it is for the lower tier leagues that finish in the top 3, I think. Or, well, in Norway it is both 1 and 2, I think, that gets the chance to play for the playoffs, basically, in order to get into the they don't play to get into the group stage, but they play to advance into the next one, which is after the group stage. So, yeah.
UEFA officially announced that the Conference League was coming back in 2019. Nobody really seemed to care about it. But as the tournament will soon become actual reality in the next season.
Here is my problem with people when it comes to the Conference League alone. They only seem to care for the league that is in their own country and don't realize how it is for lower 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 tier countries in the Premier League, you can say. Basically, like you got Norwegian League, Swedish League, Danish League. Did I say Swedish? Yeah, I said that. For example, the Dutch League has that kind of system too. I think Belgium has it. Yeah. It's a hassle because it also can leave teams getting really fatigued by already the half of the season. And then when it gets time to play the knockout stages in the Champions League, for example, then they are already fatigued. So it's a handicap for teams like Liverpool, Manchester City, and all that when they mysteriously get faced up against a team like that. So Europa Conference League kind of shapes this up for those who basically miss out on, for example, those who miss out on the group stage enters either the Europa League, or those who miss out on Europa League, I think, goes to Conference League. That's how I would explain it. But yeah, let's go ahead.
On 2022, more and more people are starting to wonder what this thing is actually about. And this is quite understandable. I've made a poll on Instagram asking you if you know what the UEFA Conference League is, and a big majority of you answered no. So in this video I'm going to be explaining to you what the UEFA Conference League actually is about,
really
how
care.
exactly it's going to change
They
European
rather
football,
just
and
care
also give you
about
my
their
opinion
own.
on if it is a good or a bad idea. Let's go.
It
So
can be
basically
both.
the UEFA Conference League is the third tier UEFA competition
tier.
below the Champions League and the Europa League. There will be 32 teams competing in 8 groups in the group stages of the competition, just like we're seeing it in the UEFA Champions League right now. And the majority of these 32 teams will actually be clubs from lower ranked UEFA nations. So that is quite a huge difference to the Champions League, where 50% of the group stage teams.
Like I said, for example, Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, maybe Finland, Scottish, Ireland, maybe. What more? Dutch. I don't know if Dutch gets up to basically where Europa League is on a tier, but basically if that happens, they no longer have to play in this system called qualifying games, which is kinda, well, for some teams it's not unnecessary, because it is basically, it could be looked at as a preseason. But yeah, that's how I would compare it to.
Actually from the top 4 leagues. So let's have a quick overview. The Champions League has 32 teams. The Europa League with its 12 groups has 48 teams. And the UEFA Conference League will come in with another 32 teams. So are you telling me we're gonna have 112 teams competing in European competitions per year? Whoa, isn't that too much? It probably would be, but it's not gonna happen. Because the number of teams in the Europa League will be decreased from 48 to only 32 teams. Meaning it will have only 8 groups instead of 12, and all
Yeah.
3 European competitions will have this system with 8 groups and 32 teams.
Like I said, so it's like basically you can say it is the competition for the Scandinavian leagues as example. Like they are part of that if they miss out on playing for Champions League or Europa League playoffs system. But yeah.
Teams each, so we will have 96 teams competing in European competitions per year, which is still a lot, but the focus lays on this evolution in the Europa League, because it changes quite a lot in European football. But let's start right from the beginning. The Champions League as we know it and as we love it will more or less stay the same. The 8 group winners and the 8 runners-up will still go to the round of 16 of the Champions League. It's always been like that and it will stay like that, don't worry. But then what happens to the 8 third place teams of the Champions League group stages? You know that in the past these 8 have always been going right to the Europa League round of 32.
Yeah.
But now if the Europa League only...
Actually, that's what happened to Manchester United. They missed out on Champions League just because of PSG and Neymar's antics of being a freaking diva on the pitch. But yeah, that is my opinion of it. That's basically one of the reasons why they actually lost that game. That crucial game that could have them stay in the competition. But no. The dramatics of Neymar actually got Scott McTominay a red card, I think. Which is... yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but something like that.
32 teams. Can there be a round of 32? Of course not, and that is where the first big change comes into place. The 8 third place teams of the Champions League, instead of going to the round of 32 of the Europa League, which was scrapped, it doesn't exist anymore, they will be going to the Europa League knockout playoffs. This is a new round similar to the old round of 32, but a bit different. I'm gonna explain that later on, but let's move on to the Europa League. So the 8 group winners of the Europa League group stages will now go directly to the Europa League round of 16, instead of having to go through the round of 32, which, as you already know, doesn't exist anymore. And this is where it becomes special. The 8 runners-up of the Europa League group stages won't follow the 8 winners of the group stages to the round of 16 directly, but they will also have to go through the Europa League knockout playoffs. Do you still remember who else is in the Europa League knockout playoffs? Yep, exactly. The 8 third place Champions League group stage teams will face the 8 runners-up of the Europa League group stages in the Europa League knockout playoffs. So each UCL third place team will face a Europa League second place team, and the 8 winners of these 8 fixtures will then go on to face the 8 group winners of the Europa League group stages in the Europa League round of 16. Okay, first let that sink in for a second. Are you ready? Okay, then you can probably already imagine what happens to the third place teams of the Europa League group stages. In the old system we have right now, what happened to them was basically nothing. These teams were just knocked out from Europe completely. But now in the new system, they actually have another chance. Some of you might already imagine what will happen to them. Bingo, this is where the new competition comes in. They will go to the UEFA Conference League knockout playoffs. This is basically the same thing as the Europa League knockout playoffs, just on a level below that. And so the system in the whole UEFA Conference League is the same as in the Europa League. The 8 group winners go directly to the...
It is actually quite interesting. People don't really like what they hear about it, but from what I hearing, and me being from a country of who is part of the UEFA, but isn't a necessarily top tier league, it would basically it would get them a better chance to just qualify for something. So, I don't know how the qualifying in terms of the league table is with the Norwegian league, but yeah.
The competition's round of 16, but the 8 runners-up of the UEFA Conference League will have to play the knockout playoffs. And there they will also have to face the 8 third-placed Europa League teams in the UEFA Conference League round of 16. So yeah, that was a lot of info. I guess you'll have to let that sink in first. Basically, the Europa League being decreased to 32 teams, and those new knockout playoff rounds are the only significant changes.
Now that is okay. Yeah, now that is something. So let's say, okay, let's say Arsenal qualifying for Europa League or something, but they make 3rd place instead of advancing. Then they have to, okay, yeah, and if, for example, a Norwegian team just beat them off, well, that sounded kind of wrong, but if they lose, then to a UEFA Europa Conference League team, that would be kinda funny. Well, not for the fan base of Arsenal, but it would be fun to see what teams that will actually play. Yeah.
It's pretty simple actually. And now you might already be asking yourself, what is going to happen to the 8 third place teams of the UEFA Conference League groups? Well, these 8 teams will then go on to do absolutely nothing. They are just being knocked out. Luckily, it would have been way too complicated. Okay, now that you know what the new system in European football is, let's talk about what teams will actually play in the UEFA Conference League. First of all, we've got those teams who win their domestic cups. This mostly applies to lower and medium ranked nations in the UEFA ranking. Then we've also got those teams who place 2nd to 4th in their domestic leagues. For lower ranked nations that will be 2nd or 3rd, and for the average nations that will be 3rd or 4th. And then for the higher ranked leagues, 1 or 2 teams between 5th and 7th will qualify for the Conference League. For the top 4 leagues, that is mostly going to be the team that places 6th or 7th, depending.
Wait, so no English team? So no English team will qualify for Europa League. Wow. That is interesting. Okay.
On who wins the domestic cup. But now what adds some extra spice to the competition, some teams that are eliminated from the Europa League qualifiers will go on to play the Conference League qualifiers. And even some losers from the Champions League qualifiers will get another chance in the Conference League qualifiers. So we might actually see some league champions competing in the UEFA Conference League. To give you a better picture of what teams we could potentially be seeing in the Conference League next season, here are some examples. We will have an interesting mixture of clubs from all of Europe. For example, we could see Bohemian FC from the very low-ranked Irish League, next to Panathinaikos from the Greek League or FC Sion from the Swiss League. These 2 are average leagues in the UEFA ranking. And it's also important to note that none of these 3 are currently the best teams in their respective league and country.
No.
But on the other hand, we are also going to see very
Arsenal! Like I said, Arsenal!
competing in the Conference League. Totally realistic examples for next season include Real Sociedad from La Liga, Arsenal from the Premier League or Lazio from Serie A. So just by these 6 contenders you can already see what a great diversity of clubs from all over Europe we're gonna have in the Conference League. The variety will be even much higher than in the Europa League, and already there we see some teams that many of us have never heard of. So is that a good thing or a bad thing for European football? Let's get to my opinion. I have to admit that when the news first came out of UEFA releasing a new competition called the Conference League, I was really skeptical. I thought most of us don't even watch many Europa League group stage games, so who would want to watch a UEFA Conference League that is even level below that and only has bang average?
Honestly, I probably watch. Well, normally I support the team I support, which is Manchester United. But when it's like this, I probably will support the Norwegian teams in this league. Because I don't think they have to go into the qualifying games just to get a chance. So
teams, and this is still one point I'm worried about. The group stage might get a bit boring, but other than that, I have to say that I changed my mind for this competition.
Don't underestimate it.
First of all, I think it is a great opportunity for smaller teams that are currently struggling to qualify for the Europa League to finally get some recognition within Europe. And of course, it's also financially beneficial, and it could actually save some historical traditional teams from bankruptcy. And the next point is strongly connected to this. As the competition will be focused on teams from lower ranked or average ranked nations in the UEFA ranking, those leagues can also get more credit. They also get more awareness from the other countries in Europe, from the big countries. If one of their teams pulls out a surprise run in the competition, goes...
That is actually the thing I was talking about in the start. So they get a chance to actually play and showcase their league or their team. But here is my issue with it. I don't have a problem with this. I just have a problem with the media, with those who cover this stuff, because they don't take it seriously. They treat it as crap. And that is something they need to take it more seriously, because I think in the history there are actually times where a lower league team has actually beat a higher team, as example. I don't have any example teams, but let's say, for example, I made the example with Arsenal. They are a Premier League team, which is basically the highest you can go in an English league. And then you have, for example, I don't know what tier Norwegian league is, but let's say, for example, the last season winners, which was Bodø/Glimt, they missed. No, they would be in it because of they won the Norwegian league. So they would be already in it, I think. Or the whole thing is confusing to me. I don't know if UEFA snubbed them or something. But basically, they would be qualified. But COVID ruined a lot of timeline when it comes to the start of this league, basically.
goes all the way to the final or just amazes us fans, this would be a great advertising for the league and the nation. The Conference League is a stage where many smaller teams and thus also their leagues and their nations are finally getting the chance to prove themselves and thus get more recognition outside of their country. And finally, a point that I find really interesting personally is that the Europa League basically loses 16 teams to the Conference League, and as it will only have 32 teams from now on, this will definitely increase the average standard of the competition. And I feel like the introduction of the Conference League will also make the Europa League more competitive and it will be higher rated by fans. So this was my verdict on the UEFA Conference League that will start next season. I have to say that I feel very positive about it. I am excited and I'm hyped for it to start. So now that you know what the UEFA Conference League will be about, what will change in the new system, who will play in the competition and what we can expect from the tournament,
it is a huge opportunity for lower ranked teams.
Is the Conference League an opportunity for smaller leagues and nations and for football itself, or is it just another pointless competition that we don't really need? Let me know. I am excited to read your comments and to have an insightful debate. Other tthan that, thanks for watching. Fiago's out. Peace.
Fiago. And that's the guy. Let's subscribe to him. Shout out to Fiago. Anyway, I'm gonna end this here. So I'm gonna end this here. It was an awesome video. Really interesting because I am actually from the country of a league that is looked down upon and isn't taken seriously enough, in my opinion. They missed by this much last time to get into Europa League, but no, just because they lost against AC Milan, Bodø Glimt was eliminated, so nothing at all happened. They didn't even go to a group stage. And I think also that UEFA that season scrubbed the winner of that season or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but something like that. Anyway, I'm sorry for rambling. This was a long video because of me just talking a lot. But yeah, this was a great video. And subscribe to Fiago if you wanna check out his videos. But if you want to check out my videos, feel free to do so. It is the red bar is around here, so just click it and hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date with me posting videos for you and your entertainment.